According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, each year over 2 million people will die due to health factors, accidents, self-harm, or murder. But what will happen to these people after they pass? For most, they will have a traditional funeral including embalming and burial, but many are now in favor of a much more environmentally conscious alternative referred to as green funerals. I personally have been in the funeral service field for the last 3 years of my life and have noticed a growing in popularity in this means of final disposition. However, there are still many people who do not know that this is even an option, and for that reason I believe it is important to share exactly what green burials are by comparing them to traditional funeral practices as well as understanding the many options within green funerals. A green funeral incorporates environmentally friendly options such as not embalming the body or embalming with a formaldehyde-free alternative. Biodegradable clothing, shrouds, caskets, or urns may be used as well as locally grown organic foods and flowers. The main goal of a green funeral is to preserve the environment while still providing a funeral service to help the family in their time of need. Traditional funeral practices in the United States, which include the act of embalming, began during the Civil War when President Lincoln insisted the deceased be embalmed before returning them to their families. Since this time, embalming has become an everyday practice at the funeral home. However, these practices are very harmful to the earth. In a given year, over 800,000 gallons of embalming fluid will be used to prepare the deceased for burial, as well as many glues, varnishes, stains, and fabrics. All of these, when placed into the ground, pollute the soil as well as the water tables, causing drinking water to be laced with chemicals. Not only are the chemicals an issue, but so are the large amounts of resources that are being used. Each year in the United States, 30 million board feet of hardwoods are used, much of which is sourced from the rainforest, as well as over 100,000 tons of steel, 3,000 tons of copper and bronze, and well over 1 million tons of reinforced concrete, which is used to make burial vaults. There are many different ways to have a green funeral, one of which is the tradition of burying the body in the ground. However, there are several differences between this and the traditional funeral. Green burial, as I said earlier, do not use the toxic formaldehyde-based embalming, as well as metal caskets or concrete burial liners of vaults. Any burial shroud or casket that is used must be biodegradable, non-toxic, and made of a sustainable material. Large headstones are also not used in green burials. Instead, flat rocks, plants, or trees will serve as markers. The burial container is a large aspect of green funerals because there are several to choose from. A cardboard casket can easily be detained and decorated with a water-based paint. Another type of casket is one woven with sustainable materials such as fast-growing willow, seagrass, or bamboo, with the linings made of an unbleached natural cotton. Finally, the simplest container is a burial shroud. A burial shroud is a large piece of cloth, usually made from linen, canvas, cotton, or other natural fibers, and will be wrapped around the deceased body. The next form of disposition to discuss is the act of cremation. Cremation is the reduction of the body to bone fragments through the application of intense heat. While cremation is more eco-friendly than embalming, it still has its problems, with the largest being the emission of fossil fuels that pollute the air. Because of this reason, the use of cremation as a green alternative is largely debated. However, a new form of disposition, referred to as alkaline hydrolysis, creates a similar ending result without pollution of fossil fuels. In alkaline hydrolysis, the body is placed in a special chamber where it is subjected to water, heat, pressure, and potassium hydroxide. After several hours, the body will be reduced to a white ash, much like cremation, even though it uses much less energy and produces much less carbon dioxide. Once the process is complete, then the family has the tough decision of what to do with the ashes. Cremated remains can be turned into many useful and creative things, such as biourns. Biourns are urns that are designed to turn the ashes of a person into a plant or a tree. Eternal wreaths are similar in the fact that they use the cremated remains in a way of disposition that is helping the environment. An eternal wreath is a designed wreath made of environmentally safe cast concrete that includes the cremated remains and is used to create new marine habitats for fish and other sea creatures. These are just a few of the many ways to handle your loved one's cremated remains. As mentioned before, green funerals are increasing in popularity in the United States, and it is easy to see that the world as a whole is becoming more environmentally conscious, which is nice to see after the many years of abuse funeral services traditions have contributed to the planet.